Okay. Public comment. Public comment is now open. Anybody have a public comment?
Yes. How long is it before you guys decide to put something on the agenda when you know what's happening? Such as you have another legal issue presented to the board because you have been served, and yet it's not on the agenda.
Is there any other public comment?
I'd just like to tell the members that I recently received my firefighter endorsement on my driver's license from GMP, and I want to thank a couple of members, John Will and Bud Hendrickson, for their voluntary help to train me, and they're a couple of good guys.
Well, congratulations.
And since I wasn't finished, I will continue. How many people have passed the background check? Including the chief, the assistant chief, and you, Pat, or your medical background screening that you guys said over a year and a half ago that it was required. And it's been approved more than once, and you guys haven't been approved to do them. So how come you guys haven't conducted a single background check?
Is there any other public comment? Seeing none, public comment is closed. Moving on, fire inspector report.
We had, I'll be two plans, and,
You said 2 spot fires?
no, the two plot plans for the
Hot one. Okay.
and then, I also have information on the, hard drive, and you have to, cover, we have to go that down, or?
Yeah, why don't you, if you got a report, if you wouldn't mind reading that?
Okay. So I got a letter from the Gilder, which is the data recovery company, and it says, "Good afternoon, Jonathan. The memory quality of these NANDs is nearly the lowest quality of the low in terms of quality. They have no manufacturer, brand, or part number. Additionally, the NANDs identify with the UUID number that is in accordance with that. After spending roughly a week of machine time to try to get the ECC error to validate good data, this included tweaking by had the page layouts set up voltages, etc.
I would like to copy that letter.
Okay, moving on to the Fall River Valley Fire District Volunteer Association report.
Not a whole lot, we're getting ready for the carnival. That's probably really all.
Just what?
We're just getting ready for the carnival.
And our setup Saturday, right?
Yes.
I think in the carnival hall, Saturday, 8:30, 9 o'clock, all hands on deck.
Yeah. All hands on deck.
That's up there. We found donations for, the sponsors for all the events,
Cool.
all the events are sponsored.
And we got a lot of tickets sold, but we could always sell more. Still have plenty.
We have tickets to be sold, you're
Yeah.
absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And then, for those of you that don't know, Russ Reiner was gracious enough to participate in the junior livestock sale. Not only did he buy this animal, he paid the $1,257 to Kent's to have it custom butchered and wrapped. So, this is a golden opportunity. All we have invested is the raffle tickets themselves. So, I encourage everybody to make a sale. Okay, nothing else on the association side?
I got one question, quickly. James, do you guys have whiskey bought
Do we have like
for the guns?
whiskey?
Yeah,
Whiskey?
you cannot do guns anymore in California, in bingo or anything. That's the reason all these places have gone, is raffling off a bottle of whiskey and then drawing the numbers for the guns.
Oh, we'll have to look into that, if that's what we need to do, that's what we do. I didn't know that.
Safari Club, take your pick, all of them the same
So
way.
can I use dope, something like that?
You probably use whatever you want.
When did that start?
2 years ago.
Oh, yeah, there's nobody up here is going to do it now.
No, they,
Not
everybody
just
had to do it. Safari Club, all of them had to do it. Chip and cow, coyote, but I did it.
Oh, no, my daughter just wanted some guns and
I remember the CBA in there last spring.
Yeah. Yeah, they weren't doing that.
We'll go ahead.
Yeah, look into it, on that.
Okay, moving on, chief report.
We had a total of 29 calls, we made all calls, 17 medicals, 5 fires, 2 commercial, 2 residential, 1 smoke check, 4 traffic collisions, 1 water rescue, 1 public assist, and 1 gas company.
Water rescue, could you elaborate on that?
Vehicle stuck on, behind the high school, was hit her overload, she was stuck in the middle of it, and, we had to rescue her out of there.
Because of the flood.
Because she was surrounded by water. I have a question, if those could be, included in the minutes specifically?
What was that?
I asked if the incident number of instances could be included in the minutes. Other than this.
You would like to see that included?
Correct. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, you still got the floor.
Let's go ahead and move on to training. We had joint training exercise at Soldier Mountain. It showed a great outstanding display of coordination skills among various emergency response teams. The event was designed to enhance preparedness to work with various agencies, proper placement of the cones, communication, inside them. That was a joint training with Soldier Mountain. Traffic, yeah, that's enough of that. We're gonna go on to school tracking. I can give you guys a little. What's that? Oh. Anyways, I labeled everything that we used as far as fuel, what vehicle, the amount, which, Scott just started, putting the amount on the receipt. In January, they did not, and they did a little switch.
So when you're saying amounts, you're talking about dollar
Dollar
amounts?
amount for the gallons.
Okay.
So
All
frankly,
right, before they were just putting gallons, and you were guessing at what the cost was.
Yes, so I have
you guys can compare it with yours, make sure everything's legitimate.
Good.
What else do I have? New engine update, nothing's, progressing with that at this time until we get reimbursed, the grant money, so we can start buying new stuff for it. I did purchase, I got calls from Red Bluff Fire, they got new hose, and made me a deal I couldn't pass up. We looked at buying 700 feet, double jacket, trucking hose.
It's used hose, we ended up getting it for $175.
Yes, first stick. And, it just got tested, so they're gonna give you that as well. And what else? 3 nozzles, which they're roughly about 900 a piece. I got them for 400 a piece. And, they're 70 to 200 gallons. And then I like to talk about, Happy Valley. They donated 3 radio chargers, which we need. It was very nice of them. I think I'm done with the sheet.
Did you give nothing on this, planning commission report?
A little bit later.
Oh, one other thing, okay,
Okay, so is that it for the chief report? Okay. So it was a rather busy one.
yes.
Okay, now we move on to the next, which is the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion? Motion's been made. Is there a second to the motion to approve the minutes?
I'll second it.
Motion been made and seconded. Open for discussion. Any discussion?
Yes, can you read the minutes as required by Robert's Rules of Order?
Well, I'm not aware that the rules of order requires us to read them audibly out. We can read them, however.
It is required to read the minutes during the board meeting. Yes, it is.
You have access to them.
It doesn't matter. You have to read the minutes according to the Robert's Rules of Order.
Tom's gonna read them to you.
Call to order, 10 o'clock, public comment, Howard Valdez, any comments? Fire inspection report, John Sims reported that he did one solar plant inspection, since last month. Longview Fire Department, deal, Associated Government informed the board that they were gearing up for the Fireman's Carnival and that the beef raffle tickets were ready to disperse. Chief's report, James White, incidents was 34 calls, 22 medical, 6 fire, 1 commercial, 1 residential, 2 alarms, and 2 smoke checks, 3 traffic collisions, 2 assists, and 1 hazard record. Equipment, talking to the rescue for high tech for the light bar, type 3 going on to MacArthur after it's completed. As far as the new engine, I see. Chief White was tracking the fuel charges and receipts, stop, and reduce our fuel costs if we can make sure our payments are there within 30 days. Donation, Noel Jacobson's senior project with Feather Mount and Swamp was successful, and has donated $3,243.37 of the proceeds to the fire department. Action items, minutes for December 25th meeting were removed and second and approved. The Adley Biden claims for January 24 were removed. Second and approved the Adley Biden old business audit. Third reported Jackie has been in contact with LSL, and LSL will be working on them once again in April of 2025. AT&T and first Net View, Jonathan will be providing the procedure on how to get into the Wi-Fi on the hall, at the hall. New business, Shasta County Authority authorization page motion was moved, seconded, and carried to approve approve.
Director Diatley,
Yeah.
Director Euler,
Yes.
Director Reading, and Director Fazio.
Motion carries. All right, motion to approve the claims.
We'll move.
Motion's been made, is there a second? Motion's been made and seconded, open for discussion.
I have one question.
Can you speak up, please?
How come the Fall River, PG&E field, are so much higher than the other, than MacArthur and, the other halls? That's a huge hall. No, it's a huge hall.
You can do a lot of training after hours.
So use that for more than use that.
What's the temperature set at down there?
It's at like 45.
Now, 10 degrees.
Yeah.
They shut it off. Put it on timer.
It won't go any lower.
Put it on timer. You can leave a timer
Have
on
the
there.
apparatus and fix it.
Actually, the building being frozen. So as bad as the 587 sounds, I think and believe that in 126 of 24 was almost double
I
that.
know.
They do make thermostats that are preset lower than that any HVAC person can get and wire into it.
Okay, is there any other discussion? regarding- Yes.
You were first, weren't you, Lisa?
Regarding the temperature at the Fall River Fire Hall, being a volunteer, it would get quite cold in there. And I agree that it would set parameters that facilitate the days of our training. However, if you were to do that, it needs to be to where we can comfortably conduct training without freezing our butts off. Because a lot of our volunteers don't pack on near the lake as some of the other people.
Yeah, but it's like managing anything. You gotta realize that Carpenter's got 40 trucks at one time, like they there. Every one of them is on timer for their, in the winter time for their cow.
And Tom is right. I think that we could facilitate better management. However, it needs to be conducive for the volunteers that are actually there doing the training. Because they could get very cold in there.
And the problem turns on.
One thing, since I have the floor, one thing you must know about instruction. In order for somebody to be taught, the physical needs must be met first. That's baseline. So, even though the board may have trouble with the hall being set to a higher temperature, it may be necessary for it to facilitate our training. So, I'd say we will work on it as volunteers. However, it's not just black and white. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I'm glad to see my question is the PG&E bill, what I was going to speak about today. Just looking at your agenda package over the past couple of months, this one, there's numerous bills in this package that date back to September in some cases, and those bills have been presented every month
Any other comments?
Yes, it has to do with payroll. When was Jonathan hired to do anything for this board or district at $50 an hour, and what is that for? What job position is it?
No comment, any other comments? But, I'm sorry,
What is Kenny and Maureen, what kind of service is that?
that's our legal advisor, legal counsel.
Oh,
Paid for all the
that's
lawsuits.
too bad, you guys have to pay $2,500 a month.
It's actually horrible, yes, I agree.
Paid for all the lawsuits.
A lot of it's actually the court calling me advice on other stuff.
Paid for all the lawsuits.
Look at the bills.
But,
If you guys have looked at these bills, all the usage of what we used last year and the last previous years is down. The thing that's costing us so much is the cost of PG&E. We've done everything possible to help the commissioners if we need it.
I'm gonna disagree with
Hey,
that.
I'm not done yet. And I personally go in there every day and make sure that it's turned down. The chief did it, and John did it. The will work is very hard on people that continue to go down the trial. I don't think we can do much better. Hopefully, within the next week or two, the railroad will be coming up. But we are working with it very heavily to try to keep that PG&E. I appreciate all the help that I get, helping the hall do it. You guys are doing a good job.
Election on the hall. Doors, are those electric doors?
Yes.
Then why are they all open?
No, they're not.
Yes, they have been by there, but
No, they're not open unless somebody's in there doing something.
I know. What I'm saying is you drive the truck out, close the door.
And you.
Well, why is 4 doors open? when I drive by?
Somebody working in there.
Well, you have to have the doors open when you're working there.
Hey, when you start a truck, do you open the doors?
No,
Come on, Danny. Open
I
that
don't
door.
have the door open.
None of our fire halls have doors.
I think part of the thing is, and maybe just to answer your concerns, Tom, is when you fire up a diesel engine, not all of them are new,
Oh, I know.
and it's harmful.
Well, one door would be
But I think
sufficient.
everybody here wants to see our PG&E bills go down, and I think as long as we're all in a team effort to do that, we'll meet that. All right.
Quick question. A quick comment on the PG&E bills, it's a subject of the moment. I think if you look at historically, we are down a fair amount from previous years. And considering the fact that PG&E has continued to raise electrical rates, so we're paying more for power, that shows a large net decrease in power usage. There's a physical reality of a large uninsulated block building, being able to maintain a temperature that the plumbing and apparatus do not produce inside of it, which would be very costly to happen. I think that being able to maintain that temperature is going to require a certain amount of money. There's no physical reality other than a large capital expense of insulated buildings, which we looked at before, it's estimated to be a 20 or 30 year payback for power savings versus insulated building. We have not gone that direction yet. I would suggest that the volunteers I know the volunteers are doing everything we can to conserve power, and we do not want the volunteers in a closed building breathing exhaust fumes from these diesel trucks. So there's a reality having to open doors during these operations. I wanted to reiterate that the volunteers are doing an excellent job. We are trying to do what we can to conserve power, but there are physical realities that we cannot do to screw on certain things.
Any other comments?
So it's been quite evident that the concern is the PG&E cost with heating the building from both points of view. Let's not let the little things stop the big thing from working here. I was just collaborating with a friend of mine, and he suggested that the building has a great southeast aspect. Why don't we offset the PG&E costs by implementing a solar grid tie system? And then we are universally environmentally friendly with heating and power usage. something to
We
consider.
looked at that a couple years ago, and the numbers didn't really make sense, that we can do that research and come back with a breakup cost recovery analysis and present this forward. At some point, though, it does cost money to operate facilities. I think we're getting pretty close to the count.
Sure. And like you said, with new numbers, we have a new thing, so it might be time to relook at some of these things, especially as we're concerned with the PG cost.
We should be looking at the usage, not the price.
Yeah, so you're saying the use, the quantity, whatever, is actually lower than it used to be?
The net energy usage has been gone down due to conservation efforts this winter, particularly considering that our overall price we're paying has gone down and the power rates continue to go up for the last couple of years.
So, consider the two good things, right? If the scale is continuing to climb in that direction, and we're having an awful about PG&E costs, let's be proactive and move forward with mitigating the problem from both.
We have one of the worst winters we've ever had.
So could I get a copy of the actual paperwork that shows that you guys are using less electric? Because it has been a common practice of Ryan not to be completely truthful in the facts that he presents to the board. So I would like a copy of the actual reduction of energy usages from all the holes.
Just go home on this.
You're a troublemaker.
Comments closed, call for a vote.
Director Diatley.
Approve.
Euler.
Aye.
Braden. Fazio.
Motion carries. Moving on, old business, there's no old business, so moving into new business. Item number 1, discussion and possible action to approve and consider the letter of resignation from the clerk of the board, Jody Morty. Do I have a motion to accept Jody's letter of resignation? And you second, Tom? Motion been made and second, open for discussion. Any discussion?
Wait, I have a few questions about it. I thought you were going to discuss with the board first, but obviously not. So I would say that you make it immediate because at the end of April, you're going to be 9 audits behind. She's continuously late on quite a few bills, such as in December, she presented bills from LCW, which is another attorney firm that go all the way back to March and April. And they were submitted more than once during that time period, but yet she resubmitted them. So she either didn't pay them or she's paying them twice because she has paid bills twice, one of which the board had to reapprove because it went over the $15,000 limit. You guys reapproved it, and the only reason it wasn't cashed is because the person receiving that bill for $15,000 didn't take it because they agreed they were already paid for it. You also have overpaid Kenny and Noreen over $3,000 in a month. She's not looking at the bill. She doesn't track which bill she's paid and which bill she hasn't paid. She hasn't conducted an audit not only for this district, but for the other district that she works for. They're behind on their audits too. So I would say that immediately you guys accept her letter of resignation after you get the passwords from every system that she's in, because she also has a habit of not providing the passwords to her former employers.
That's what happened with the volunteer fire department. Okay, we never got our records that she promised to give us. We never got the passwords that she promised to give us because she was too busy.
I want to just say that I personally thank Jody for everything that she's done for us. She's spent an awful lot of time earning money for us for the association. She's got a granddaughter she's raising. She's got a lot of medical issues that's been happening with her and her family. And there's a lot going on that from the outside maybe it's not completely transparent, or the optics don't look good to some individuals. However, I will say, in regards to her transferring money from the old department
to the new association. I was there when she rolled those funds out, and I can attest that the money went from one bank to the next.
So the old department as a separate corporation?
So, all that being said, Jody is going to stick around and help us with whoever we have that steps up and wants to take her.
That's fine, and I urge you, the board, you handle, you need to get put on those accounts and those passwords. You need to have access to them. Because the past history with the volunteer department, you promised to give those, I have it in writing, and you were copied on the past. You've never received those, and so I urge you guys to make sure that you secure that access.
Discussion is closed. Call for vote. Oh, sorry.
It was just public comment. This is getting really confusing. I thought it was public comment at the beginning of the meeting, and you could address anything on the agenda. And then they need to wait for an address. Personally, if they want a copy of something, I just feel like you guys are getting really interrupted and excessively for, I don't see the.
I wish it was that way, but through thousands of dollars of legal counsel and challenges to the Brown Act, we are required to open every single motion up after we get a second for discussion, and that discussion is to include anybody that's present.
That is not allowed.
I'm trying to just sit here quietly, but I do have a question. I'm confused about why, I've always looked upon passwords and passcodes as being somewhat confidential. And I don't understand why someone out here would be entitled to receiving a password or passcode for some banking information. I mean, so Jody, can you give me the passwords? It doesn't make sense to me. I just like clarification.
She resigned from the volunteer.
I'm not,
Someone else took over.
Well, you're not, she answered to them, not
They
you.
weren't there.
You don't have a volunteer.
Nick, I'm ready for next.
You're nothing. You don't have a.
Okay, what I was speaking about is that she resigned from the volunteer fire department, someone else took over those duties. She stated she would give those passwords and the accounting records, and we did not get them from her, so that's what putting the new administration. Yes, I did, and I guess I did.
No, maybe it did, it's the operative word there.
Okay.
we still do.
It's a non-profit corporation in its own right.
Well,
You have to pay taxes for the money.
Nick, you're next.
Did Jody just have a birthday recently? I would like to shine a little light in on this room and sing Jody happy birthday. I think James could lead it off.
It's not on the agenda, and therefore they can't discuss it.
Listen, I'm the second one. That's what I get for walking in late.
Discussion is closed. Call for a vote.
Director Dion. Euler.
Aye.
Grader. Aye. Fazio.
Motion carries. Item number 2, discussion on possible action to post the clerk of the board position. Is there a motion to post that position? Tom made the motion. Second, open for discussion.
Yes. Are you guys going to actually post what the job responsibilities are, such as paying the bills on time? You also, that person who applies for the position should have some sort of bookkeeping, since the current bookkeeper hasn't been able to do the last 9 audits or prep for the audits, because if the district was prepared to do audits, it wouldn't take over a year to get the first back due audit done, which it's been over a year since you guys hired the other auditors, and since this board was not prepared to hand over the paperwork,
the audit didn't get done. And so the person should have some sort of bookkeeping background, because the current one doesn't seem to have very much of a knowledge of basic bookkeeping, and fails to follow the Special District's Bookkeeping Records Act.
I'm gonna say, I think we should post this job starting Monday for 2 weeks.
Okay, do you want to amend the motion? Or would you like to have that stated in your motion? The posting. Now, I talked to legal counsel, and the state law says we shall post it. But we can post it for 1 day if we want, as long as our policy doesn't. No, we don't. We can post it. Kenny told me yesterday to post it, you wouldn't do it for more than 10 days. So we'll do an amendment if you so desire.
I make an amendment to item number 2, discussion of possible action to post clerk of the board position to start on Monday, 10 days.
Okay, so a motion been made to amend the motion that we currently have to limit the time of the posting of the new position to 10 days. Is there a second to that amendment motion?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second to amend it. Open for discussion. Seeing none? Closed? All those in favor?
DI. Euler.
Aye.
Braden. Oswald.
Motion carries. We will post the position to replace our vacancy for 10 days, and the whole board will review it. Moving on. Discussion and possible action on possible conflict of interest with board members and other members. So, it was brought to my attention that every one of us is an elected member by the public out there, and every member shall have the right to go into closed session and or anywhere else. It is our job, however, as individual board members, if they identify and see a conflict of interest, to point that out. It is upon the other individual to recuse themselves, or rather move ahead. In some cases, that could be wrong. We have a current litigation moving ahead, and so there may be a potential conflict.
Which current litigation are you talking about? Because there is only one litigation listed.
For any comments at this time, and unless there's a motion that we do something differently, that's from our legal counsel, and so everybody should understand that. If somebody does, however, move ahead, and there is any kind of monetary or otherwise benefit from that conflict of interest, they can move ahead. Okay, moving on to, there's no motion, we're gonna move on to.
I don't have a comment on it. I have a comment on that.
There's no comments.
So, well, Pat, since you just admitted you were there involved in money, and I'm involved, that
It's on the agenda, and comments are allowed to be made. You can't restrict.
So
This is one place where there is no comment, sit down.
No,
Sit
this is
down.
part of the
Item number 4, discussion and possible action
I hope you recuse yourself too, because you said you
on
took money.
items as reported by Knowledge Short from the Shasta County Auditor's Office. Knowledge, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Bobby. Just to make it easier to follow along. And maybe we'll have extra. Okay, extras. So I was asked to kind of come up and talk about the district and kind of what the financial status of the district is, and kind of what I see from my side. And so there's a couple of things the district needs to look at when they're looking at where they are financially. So the first page that you see is cash. Regularly, and we recommend monthly that you do month-end reconciliation, you should be looking at your cash. And so I've highlighted on the first page, the top half is a report that you would see out of the county's finance system. So you have 2 pools of cash there. You have your cash and treasury, which is $260,000, and then you have this restricted cash of $47,000. That is the part of the contract that we signed with the outside auditor. So we restricted that, set that aside, so it couldn't be spent anywhere else. And so
$260,000, to be aware of any cash that is restricted, that you've received that is restricted for its use. And so some of those I've been trying to get at for a little bit are some of your grants, like if you've accepted money from an entity, a foundation grant, and it has restricted uses, you can't be using that to operate the district for anything other than what you set for the money for. So somewhere you're looking for in the future, and we'll certainly work with whoever you choose, they can come down and do training with them, fire chief wants to come down and handle them, how to build the system, how to read the report, and then what they should be doing. So grants need to be tracked on our system, it's not a grant operating system. You need to be aware of what money you've already received that's sitting there that it has to be restricted for a specific purpose. And so there's a few of them that I've been working with Jody on. We know at least one with Model Foundation have not been posted in the system yet, because the paperwork's been provided to us, and so we need a grant document or a board meeting minute or something saying that you accepted that money. And you don't want to do it when you accept the grant, you want to do it when you actually receive it.
So once you get that information, that'll be plugged in here.
Yeah, you'll see it on the next slide. And then there were 3 others that were brought to me by the public that I also posted to the district, because I don't really know if they're valid. And it can be also donations. If you accept a donation from a member of the public and they give it to you specifically for, like in one case, like the one was mentioned that the day road, maybe call or whatever, that there was some money that was donated by 2 individuals specifically to do some changes. Yeah, I don't know if that has been done or hasn't been done, and so we're kind of waiting for an answer on, are those still eligible, did you receive money, and have you satisfied us? If you satisfied them, you don't need to restrict anything else. But those are just ones that were brought up that I passed on to the district, but I don't really know what they were. So, if we assume that those are all restricted, then you can just say we have 201,000. That does include the ARPA reimbursement in the county, so I did reach out to them last week, and we got that journal posted, so that cash is included in this cash out, so really we got the cash, because that's $127,000.
And that was a settlement from fire.
It wasn't a settlement, it was a grant that they gave you to purchase a fire engine, you guys have already purchased a fire engine, so you were just waiting to do the reimbursement part of it, which required documents to be sent to the CAO, justifying the expense, and then waiting for that money to come in. So you guys have already spent that money in a prior year, so this is just revenue that you're getting now that will be available for other uses, so it's reimbursement. The grant, one thing I will look at is the grant was like $141,000, I believe, so just making sure that you claim everything you can, if there's any other costs.
We're aware of the FEMA funds.
Okay, good, yeah, just to maximize how much you're getting, but that's not what we posted, and this is your cash report of it. So if we turn to the next page, the second thing that we need to look at is your fund balance, and so this is like your savings or what you have out there. There is a reconciliation that we do to reconcile with your cash, but there's several fund balance categories, and so what you're seeing right now is this unassigned, or what I consider available, the $77,000, and then you have fund balance committed, $47,500, and that is for the audit. So that's set aside, meaning that Andrew can sign that contract. The unassigned is incorrect, so this is part of the reason I'm trying to get the grant documents before the contract, so I'll show you on the next page how it should look. So if you record your grant, your McConnell Foundation grant, you record other small grants, when they're unspent, then it restricts it and it sets it aside, so you don't have to spend it. And then if you turn to the next page, this is how in the fund balance system it should look. So if I were running that same report, this is the way you should see it. So, and you'll see how it kind of changes what you're looking at. So if you have 58,000 and 009,760 that's restricted for your grants, and maybe 50, maybe 58, I'm still waiting on that. And you have 47.5 that's for that, the audit is submitted. And then there was a budget amendment that was submitted recently for that program where you're going to use 2,000 of fund balance to cover it. That leaves you 16,000 in your savings. So it's really important that you can see these numbers, so we have to know what you've already earmarked for other purposes. And right now, your budget, your revenues and expenses are matching, so you're not planning in your current budget to use any fund balance, which is good. But in some years you will, and that will also be reported here. It'll be reported as a fiscal year funding source assigned, because you've already assigned it for the current, to cover the current budget. And so you need to be able to look at these reports very quickly and say, what do I have and what's restricted? you really have that 127 and the 16. Your budget doesn't show that you're gonna have other, your budget presented to be balanced, so it's not telling me at this point in time that we're gonna be adding any additional components. So those two are really kind of your numbers that you can kind of play with. And then the bottom half, so we have a secondary ledger. So this is what, the top half is what it would look like on the normal budget actual. But we also have a project ledger that we break out further. And so the bottom half of that is actually a project ledger report, and you can see the individual grant names in it and extra titles. All those reports are available in this. So if we were to record those, then this is what you would be able to just run a report, bring it to the board every month. And again, we're expecting that these are being ran at month end.
What report is this?
This is the budget actual.
Well, I do a budget to actual, but it doesn't look like this one.
So there's two different ones. So this is just the standard budget to actual that's on the front page. And so I can show you how to run that. It also is a month-end report instruction. So there's one for the budget versus actual. It's a snapshot of everything. Like it has your expense and revenue. It shows what your adopted budget was, what budget adjustments were in here, and what your actuals are year to date. There's a standard budget versus actual. You can get all of your accounts. And so you can get your cash and your fund balance and all of that.
Okay.
So, and we work with you, I mean, whether it's here or these are reporting towards, so you're kind of looking at the financial plans. And if you look at that one report, the basic report that says GL at the top, if you click the GL, you'll get the detail.
Okay.
Okay, so the next one is your budget, so you always want to be looking at your budget also. These are reports that I just feel like should be presented to the board every month at the monthly meeting, so we can, and then have your stickers and explaining, any variances. So this is the budget report that we're going to be speaking of. This only shows revenue and expense accounts, and so you can see what your adopted budget was, any budget changes, and then what your current adjustments, your current budget that you're working on, where your actuals are, because then you can look at it and go, these revenues aren't coming in like I expected. And sometimes people focus on going over budget in our expenses, and they fail to look at how our revenues delivering. If your revenues don't come in as you expect, then you can end up using a large chunk of your fund balance, and you didn't intend to, because nothing will cover the expenses that you have. So, and if we make an adjustment, like when we make an adjustment for $2,000, you'll see that in the budget changes column there. And so everything, there's anything that kind of stands out to me. I'd say continue to monitor your revenues on a monthly basis. And the other thing is budget checking is done by the district, so there's no budget checking for non, so you need to be looking at your expenses and making sure you're not over budget. We budget at the object level, which is where you see where it says 010 salaries and benefits or 030 services and supplies. So the law only requires us to budget at the object level, which is that level. We have extra accounts to help districts and boards know what we're spending money on in public, but really you're not over budget until the 03, the whole 03 category is over budget, or the whole 01 is over budget. The one thing I did notice is probably an adjustment needs to be made for the second fire engine was purchased at $301,000, so you can see on we did receive the revenue for that on one of the lines, and then also the capital asset account, but either one of those in budget. So whether budget, if you're doing something extra or big revenue right here, and then we're going to spend it, we really should be coming back to the board, asking for permission, doing a budget amendment to make it reflect on the report, so that the reports are as clean as possible. And so I recommend doing, increasing that revenue rate to 310, and then that capital asset like 310, and then that's cheaper. So those are kind of the three reports, and in addition to that, we do have month-end reports that they can run. We have instructions that are on the system. Again, I can go over that. I know Jody and I went over the month-end reports a couple of times, but we can go over those. You can literally see everything that in the system has been posted. The nice thing is if you can get people used to getting into the finance system, like fire chief wants to get in there and all that access, you can actually run this budget versus actual report, which is on this page here. And you can click on these items and it will the other thing, so that's kind of, one of the other things I noticed was the essence of time saving. When you train your new person, I would train them, so we still have people filling out the old paper claim forms, which are these forms. These are from the days before we had a decentralized finance system. The departments would fill these out and they submit it to our office and we had the entry for it, so we did it. So now departments enter directly into finance. And it's this nice report that they can run one it up. So I don't expect that we'll ever see people signing these. Because you're entering the stocks, you're sampling them.
So, I have 9 requests from Christine for just the fire district from the bills that I put in. And some of them are the claim form. I always use a claim form, it's just easier for me. No? Don't you?
No, because you type it here.
Well,
and then you turn around and you type it in the system. So you
Right,
double your work.
but if I don't attach that claim form,
You start the report after you enter in the system, you can run this report, this will be your new claim. You can run this report and provide it to whoever you need to, you can bring it to the board. So just think of this as your new electronic. So enter it once, print the report, if you want signatures on it, you can buy a stamp and stick it on it, but whatever you do, I'm doing pretty well. It's like a lot of work, I looked at that and I'm like,
yeah, it is a lot of
just
work.
double work.
Exactly, but I have been, got emails for certain things that I didn't attach a claim for.
Yeah, send those to me.
Okay.
That would be, I mean, the price happened in the stock room.
Yeah, I
And you don't have
actually,
to think about it differently. This is your, so you're gonna enter first, and if you're waiting for board approval, you can still enter it, don't approve it. Enter it, print your voucher, and this is your claim form, and that's your invoices for that, and if you want signatures, just get a stamp, call for signature. You can stamp it, you don't need to, don't do, just do it, whatever. So that's just a recommendation. I'm not telling you you can't do that, and if you want to do it, you
no, I have no problem with it, but just know, board members, that you will not get this page.
Hopefully we get that.
And just, yeah,
Yeah,
just so you
we'll
can
get
see
that.
it, you can pass that around, it's the same information, it's on the system. Has the same lines, it has the vendor name, it has all the same stuff that you're putting, the description that you were putting in the explanation box shows up on there, on the text field. And so, yeah, it just looks different, but it's the same. So that would be my first recommendation, I'll take like a significant amount. As far as your outside audit update, I did reach out to LSL, and they are fully booked all the way through April, and they're scheduling clients in May or June timeframe. So they should be reaching out soon to schedule those dates. I did ask them, do they have everything that they need? They confirmed that they had a bunch of documents in the documents portal. However, until they actually start working on an audit, they're not, basically not touching them until they sit down to do your audit, and then they'll go through all the documents, so may or may not be solid, basically.
So this is that block of time that we've paid for, or contracted for, and we already went through one of those.
Yeah.
And we didn't really get a lot for it because we didn't get a lot of information that was absorbed.
Yes.
So basically, the first phase of this didn't go real good.
Correct. Yeah, they give you, the way the auditors work, and it's the same for us too, we have outside auditors that audit our office as well. And we deal with a lot of special districts, but when you go to an auditor, and there's not really a lot of information in the taxes, and you schedule an appointment, they give you a window, and you need to provide your stuff, and this is your appointment time, and this is when they're gonna work on it. And if you don't provide anything, they're moving on to the next client. And so they have
But they're
audits,
already paid for
they have
that.
audits booked up all year long, yes.
So, do you have any idea, what was our contract obligation monetarily for that block that we?
It was 12,500, so they are.
So we have another 12,500 coming up in May that.
Yeah, so it was total 60,000 for all the audits. I still would not expect that their costs will exceed all of that. There is a provision in that contract that says if they're spending on enough time, they have to remind people of those things, they can come back and charge an hourly rate after that. But I'm hoping at this point that it's not gonna cost more than 60,000, which is really quoted. And then it's just a matter of them sitting down and doing the work and then digging the documentation. But I will tell you, if they have to keep coming back to you and they have to keep asking for information, and you know, instead of, like, they give us a list and we provide it all at once, and we provide within the timeframe we require, then they're gonna sit down and do their work. If they have to keep coming back and have to babysit us, it's costing money, all of us. So,
So do you foresee giving us our full tax distribution? We're not gonna withhold any more of our,
no, not at this point. We don't have any reason to do that either, so we only withheld for the amount of the contract we signed. There's no other, you know, I mean, the rest of it really just would be able to kind of avoid that. And if there's any left over at the end, that restricted money would not be restricted at all. So it's still in your fund, it's in nobody else's holding it, it's in the fund, it's just kind of set aside. We don't resign that. But yeah, we'll see where we end up, and of course, if we know it's a year or anything else, we'll really not have that. But it's really important, when they give us that window, we're gonna have to be drawing on the spot. You have to stop, drop, and roll. That's your time, you're paying for it. And although we didn't produce anything, they're doing a lot of work behind the scenes. So they're digging through that stuff, they're entering it into their software, they produce your financial statements and all that. And so they are doing work behind the scenes, which is why they see progress plan. But it is.
so we won't know till May what it is that we didn't provide them. We just need to go back on the emails and look at what we did and or maybe we didn't provide, so that we have that setting there for when they start.
Yeah, I would go back to the list of whatever they originally asked for and make sure that all of that was in the portal. And if anything's missing, because we don't have the records anymore, that we're upfront on. We don't have those, and we have to have those in the records. And then they can do an audit time. In the audit, put a note in there that says the documentation was missing, and, I mean, we kind of have to get to this point where we get back where we are today. But be honest about those things, you know, and,
And then, so regarding the list or the zip drive or whatever it is, we're getting that back. Does the county want that to look at it or anything?
Well, what's on the van on
Well, I want to be so
it? Yeah,
upfront.
no, I agree with
yeah,
that.
so, I mean, so this is kind of the way that you guys are an independent special district, so, you know, those things really need to change by the district and provide it to the auditors, and so, there's some things we have in our system, there's some things we don't. I don't have your budget amendments and your board packet and all of those things don't reside in my office, your capital asset reconciliation doesn't reside in my office, but your auditor's gonna ask you for some of that stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be, in the years that the thumb drive's been covered, we're gonna try to reach out to them. And so, hopefully we have enough. If we get stuck, I would rather that somebody reach out to me and say, help us work with the auditor and figure out, okay, if we don't have it, what do we do? How do we move forward from here? I'd rather than just issue an audit date and say, they don't have any way there, how they keep the correct numbers, and that exists for that year, and then move on to the next one. Hopefully we do have the record. Somehow we have to get back to where we are right now. And so let's just not let language, and if they're, you know, talking English and don't understand what you want, then call me and then we'll try to play that intermediary between them and say, okay, I get it, they don't have it, where do we go? What do we do, and how do we get it? Where would we need to be? So that's LSO, and again, that'll be in April, will not be in April. And then the only things that we're still waiting on, so I'm still waiting on confirmation of the restricted funds. And again, that can be a copy of the grant, if it was approved by the board, it would be for meeting minutes. But I do need to know that we received the money. If we don't want to restrict it, we actually receive it. Otherwise, we're restricting our own money. And if there's no ties to a grant, like if somebody gives you a grant, but you can spend it on whatever, or somebody gives you a donation, you can spend it on whatever, we don't need to restrict it. It's for whatever, it'll just go in your general fund balance, and you use it for whatever it was you spend.
So if somebody was to make a donation to the district, it's the same as making it to a 501c as far as the tax rate for donation and a right.
I don't know. I'm not a tax expert, so, I don't know if that's, I don't know if a donation to government is tax deductible anyway for nonprofits. So that would be something for somebody who's
CPA, welcome.
maybe like HR law. You probably don't know. And then, I do still need an estimate for the breakdown of the $2,000 budget amendment that was submitted had a portion that would be salary and benefits restoration, that would be services and supplies, that we were trying to budget them in all in one. So we just need an estimated breakdown. If it doesn't transpire that way, then you would just come back to it as budget and then we'll get it for you. It's not really a big deal, but we do need a breakdown. We can't just go one and just dump it all in one. The state controller requires that you have to.
And that's what we need to hear, so that we can make this thing usable, you know.
Yeah, and if you ever have any questions, feel free to call me. I have people in my office too, so I don't have all the explanations are perfect, but I'm not gonna give additional explanations.
The cadet program should just be supplies, no salary.
So,
The cadet program should just be supplies, no salary.
okay, you're not really hiring people, or paying any salaries, you don't know? Okay. I'll pass that on and we'll get that Thursday. Is there any?
Give them a review. Can't really do what? I mean, if they're working with, even if the debt program, now, they, that by law, they have to be paid.
If they're working as, in the debt program as a volunteer, they have to be paid.
We could be all the way it's written, so all the cases, basically, the cheapest paid with all this stuff. All the employees and everybody that put in their time, farm,
They're employees, though, right?
well, they like last time employees, put them under insurance. You all have them under insurance, and they're not covered. So you can't have them do it.
They're volunteers like everybody else in the cover under
And if they're
insurance.
not under insurance, they get in.
They're volunteers like everybody else in the cover under insurance as such.
And then they're classified as employees.
Perfect, as long as we're paying the wages.
There's no wages for management of the program and or for the cadets.
Perfect. We'll make that happen. And then, we're still waiting on the last general ledger reports in the prior system, so we have been having a couple of issues with duplicate payments. And one was vendor reached out to me, and then also an entity public. And so we've had it happen on all things. Thankfully, the one vendor was, he was upfront, and he came out and said, not taking these payments, I've already been paid. But we can't see that they were going to pay. So, and, once we go forward and we take the system, our system will pay it out. You have the same invoice number, the same vendor will allow you to do it.
Exactly.
And so, but because we're working in two systems,
How was that done? I mean, how did it scoot by?
because you paid it out of the allocation previous kind of year. Yeah, so that's the problem, is it's not in our system, so we can't do any spot checking. But one of the other things is just having a general ledger at either end. So we receive the money out of the allocation checking account. We should also have a general ledger report that matches the amount of money in that checking. And so there's this checks and balance, like, you gave us everything that your books show you have, whether it was in bank account or not. And so we're missing that. We basically made a deposit. We don't have any way to verify the correct money came in from the ledger. So as a standard, we always ask for the previous general ledger, so that we can kind of look at that and go, yeah, that's what you said, and that's what, and then we put it in there. So that is all I have for you.
And I just wanted some clarification. We had talked earlier that it was, I think it was a settlement of some sort of deal where per station we were going to get like 30,000.
40,000.
40,000.
Yeah, that's 127,000 in the ARPA money. So what they did is they said every district can have 40,000.
And that's in here.
Yeah.
And we also have in here the remainder of grant monies that we got for the engine that we're reimbursed for.
Yeah, that's the USDA one. That one, the revenue's there, and the expenses there, that's separate. We don't need to restrict anything to certain extent. So in that case, we just need to bring the budget up to date, we have to restrict unless you receive that revenue.
There's two things that we need to get to you, the McConnell grant, so that you can restrict that, and
Yeah.
information on Big Road.
Yeah, I gave Jody a list of them, and they may have been satisfied, they may have not, but, in Connell, we did receive the money, I'm just waiting, I can't just put something, I have to support those with it. And then a pattern energy grant, or patent energy grant, 1977-32. I sent a copy for the.
I can get that stuff.
Okay, has it been satisfied, or?
Yeah, the energy grant has.
Okay, so we already spent it?
No, it has not.
The energy grant was not paid by the district, it was donated by the association. District received the money.
I just thought the
received a grant,
Unrestricted information.
unrestricted donation. So that one will remove from the list, because if it doesn't have any restriction on its use, then you can just put it with your general fund,
General.
use it whatever, however you want. And then there was a donation from Lauren and Boat for $5,000 or something on Bay Road.
What was that?
That was the Day Road addition to the Day Road station.
Oh,
Yeah, and again, they donated money, they specifically have to say, I'm giving you this money, and you can only use it for the If they just donate money to the fire district without like an actual thing, then the district could have put it in a fund balance and use it for whatever they want. So that's what I'm waiting for people to decide. It doesn't need to be restricted, if not, or has it already been satisfied, and it's a new plan.
It happens to be in Shasta County, so it couldn't conclude that.
I think you're ready for
It's
your
hung up in the
minute.
building.
Building permits.
So that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Well, thank you so much, for coming up and outlining all that for us.
Absolutely. I did have one other comment, but I have had, just so I put it on record, I had members of the public who are like, are you gonna call the grand jury when they haven't done their audits? And my explanation to that is I'm not gonna call the grand jury. That, I mean, I feel like as long as the district has signed the contract, we're working, and this is a new board, a lot of faces, and, you know, I feel like we're making some traction and we're working in that direction collaboratively to try to get these audits done up, then I don't feel like I have any reason to call the grand jury, and then we're probably always going to welcome to call the grand jury, but they're gonna come back and tell us you need to do your audits, which is what I think what we're trying to do right now. So I don't feel like I'm receiving the same resistance from the board in terms of kind of moving forward and doing stuff like that. So that is not my position.
Great.
Okay, we have a question to her about the, donations that are made. Because I worked at the hospital for over 40 years, special district healthcare, and I also worked on the nonprofit side, the 501c3. We can accept donations on both sides, and they are treated and they are tax deductible to the donor on either side. The donor normally likes to go on the nonprofit 501c3 side, probably 95% of the time, but sometimes they just write out the check wrong or didn't realize you had a nonprofit, and so you can do accept either.
So the donor will get the same tax benefit
Yes.
either way.
Yes.
I thought that's kind of
And the
reasonable.
only key is you want to give them a receipt because they get over $250. They need a written acknowledgement that they made that donation, because they could be out of it. That's my understanding.
Thank you for the clarification.
On letterhead, Maureen.
Yeah, yeah.
And it does it include your tax ID number too, I know?
It's better, but normally it is. Yeah, I always did it right on the opening paragraph or the closing paragraph. Yes, that would be great.
Thanks for that clarification.
I have a comment on just about the windmill grant. The district did not pay, did not make those purchases for the items that we received money on the windmill grant. The association paid purchases and donated them to the district, so the district receives funds and the district does not spend those funds.
And this is, you mean not wind turbines?
The pattern energy grant,
I'm not aware of that.
well, I'm letting you know.
Okay. Item number 5, new business, discussion and possible action to adopt a payment policy for volunteer firefighters.
Okay, I mind you, this is a generic draft. Fall River Valley Fire Protection District payment policy. Volunteers who request payment for an incident that they were on, the district receives payment either by city, state, or federal agencies are available, or they're eligible for that payment. As long as they turn in a time card, all volunteers must submit a time card to the chief within 90 days of the incident that they're attached to it. The time card must include the incident number, date, and hours worked. All time cards must be filled out by the volunteers themselves. volunteers who do not submit time cards within 90-day period forfeit payment, and the district will no longer be responsible for payment. Fall River Valley Fire Protection District will pay a sum of $25 per hour per volunteer for each incident they were attached to. Remind you, this is Jared. I'd like our insurance to look at this, clean it up a little bit, and then I'll resubmit that back.
Okay, and then once you get that, we get the reading of this meeting, we won't go ahead and adopt it until we get the, blessing from our insurance department.
I got a question right now. You include work days on that, James?
No, like I say, I need the insurance to clean this up.
But you basically just said anything will get reimbursed for, right?
If the district, it says clearly, if the district gets paid, then they're eligible to turn in the time card if they want to. That's if the district gets paid.
Yeah, I understand that, but what I'm getting at is probably ought to add to that work day.
I'm not gonna add anything, I'm letting the insurance do it. They know what they,
We have an HR attorney for insurance, so does not cost the district anything, they will review that and fine tune it for appropriate as they want. One comment on that, more clarity for the general public here, is that the volunteers, chief, everyone, the board serves without pay. We do not get paid for anything, training, going to calls, etc. The only time the volunteers do get paid is when we're on a CAL FIRE or federal incident for usually it's an extended period of time. The district doesn't get paid unless we're for at least 2 hours. So once the district is getting paid, and the volunteers, if they wish to, can turn in a time card to get covered for their time on that incident. That allows the volunteers to take time off and work for a longer extended period of time to help protect the community, and helps the district receive funds through that program as well. So it's a mutually beneficial relationship, and that's why there's that one niche category of volunteers eligible to receive paid for when they're not for any other duty as a volunteer.
Does the district get reimbursed for those work days that Tom's talking about?
The district is reimbursed by the hour from the agency that manages that incident. If it's not a district incident or some other incident.
They'll get paid for the apparatus, the employees, a certain amount of money.
Is this a change in policy? Because I remember.
It's a cleanup of the policy.
It's a cleanup.
We've had, even when I was chief down there, say, Fred, we got called out to Snyder Ranch Road for an incident, which is out of our district, but it's in our protection and coverage area. And the district was then reimbursed for the time that they spent on that, and for the firefighters. Those firefighters, a lot of them left their jobs or whatever, and this is a way for some of them that wish to recoup some of the loss in time that they would have normally got compensated had they stayed. So we're saying that we're gonna reimburse as long as we're reimbursed. But we have to, it's gotta be, like, we even got reimbursed on a traffic control when I was chief at one point, so that was through Cal Trans, not Cal Fire. The Forest Service has this policy, there's an operating agreement that, we'll be looking at in the future sometime. So we might even have to amend this thing to change the hourly rate because some of that's changed. But this is a rough draft and a rough reading. We're not gonna take any action at this meeting. We're gonna fly this to our insurance company, get approval and bring it back to the board. At such time, then we'll get a motion and a second, and then we'll open it for discussion or whatever.
Well, I asked was, when I was in the department, we were sent to Susanville for 3 days and 2 nights, it was reimbursed, but for an engine and crew, and individuals never asked to be reimbursed for their time at all. We were volunteers.
Yeah, there's several of us that have never asked for that, but there is some people that are on a budget, and I can understand that if they were to miss 8 hours at their job because they vacated their job to go and volunteer, I'd like to see them, especially in the case that the district was compensated for their time as well as the apparatus.
It's just like, here during the Dixie Fire, we had equipment sitting at, Weaver the whole time. I run up over 350 hours that I set up there. Normally on any other incident, I would get this stuff off, which was whatever. I mean, enough to help out, the department had. You know, when we go to Dixie Fire, when everybody was so stressed and so far out, you know, we had a lot of resources out. I mean, Pat, all his crew was going, you know, and we had 2 rigs out at different times, 3 rigs at a time. And so, yeah, it took a lot of resources out of there.
Okay, so I have a question. You're saying that if the time card wasn't submitted in 90 days, they forfeit that. So what happens with that money?
I think it says clearly that the district is no longer responsible for payment.
Okay, I heard that, but what happens with the money we pay for those employees? The city better check the legality, that was a following week late, okay,
Lisa.
you're not, the district's not allowed to keep it, is what I'm letting you
I
know.
understand, but that's why we have the insurance.
Okay, I'm
Get flirty.
giving you a heads up that the district's not allowed to keep that money, it's supposed to be a direct pass-through to the employees, the district is not allowed to profit from that, they get paid for the apparatus, and that's by law, I'm not making it up.
Well, it's no different than some of the volunteers not paying their claims.
And currently, this district is in litigation regarding that, very similar to this, so that's why we're cleaning this up and we're gonna.
Pat,
Yes.
by law, the district has to pay the volunteer those wages because
What law is that?
I will get it to you after this meeting, but the employee, the person receiving the money, can then turn around and give it back to the district if they wish. But under IRS, you have, and Department of Labor, you have to pay them for those hours if you, as the board, the district, receive the money for compensation. Otherwise, you need to return that money because it's a pass-through. So if you don't give the money to the person that's entitled to it, you have to give it back to whoever you received it from. You just can't keep it.
Otherwise, it's considered
Obviously, we're gonna put this in front of our legal advisors, we're gonna get professional advice on the property.
Oh, I understand that. I'm just giving you a heads up.
I don't think there's a law against donation and volunteering in this country anymore.
I didn't say that.
You have to pay it to them and they donate it, otherwise it's considered like that.
Yeah, the way I'm looking at it, and I believe a lot of individuals are, you're donating your time as a volunteer firefighter unless we're compensated for an incident and you fill out the time card. Otherwise, you're a volunteer firefighter.
Yes.
And it's short.
Yes. But you have to still pay them first before they can donate the money back.
I don't understand, discussion and possible action to elect a vice chairperson. As you know, Tom will replace the other vice chair, so we need to vote on the vice chair. Nominate somebody.
I nominate Michelle.
So, Jody, Tom nominated Michelle, and Michelle, you have nominated Garrett.
Look at this,
Yeah, I'm not members.
Do you one desire not to do it? Or do you accept the nomination?
I'll accept it.
You'll accept it, and Gary, you'll accept it?
I've done it now, I've done it a couple times.
Okay. All right, so, call for a vote. All those in favor?
Wait. It's open to public comment. It's on the agenda, and public comment is allowed. Back in November, you approved the chair's position to be for 2 years, and then right afterwards, you approved your current bylaws that you are under, which negate the board's chairperson being held for 2 years. So the board chairperson also needs to be voted on. Shake your head, no, Ryan. You have a recording of it. You look at the way it was done. So you're going to violate your bylaws that you just got through enacting in November. Yep.
All those in favor of Michelle for vice president, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
We're gonna do a roll call. Director Diabe?
Aye.
Director Braden?
But
Spoiler?
Aye.
Director Fazio? Michelle, do you want to vote for yourself?
Unanimous with the board members here. So, congratulations, Michelle. Okay, that was item number 6. Item number 7, discussion and possible action to direct the chief to define fuel pricing and fueling procedures. So as you all know, we've had a little trouble tracking some of the bills that we've been getting from our local distributor, and James touched on this earlier, and we have a policy now in place.
Well,
We're working on that.
yeah, well, actually, I have a fuel inventory list, and, as the firefighter gets fuel, he is to get a receipt with his name and the apparatus it goes in. Therefore, then it gets turned into me, and I'm just doing a spreadsheet on what went out. As far as, they started giving us amounts, the price, rather than just the gallons. Which I can add them all up, submit them to you guys, you can look at them and make sure that they all balance out. I'm gonna keep these in my possession for 2 months, and then I'm gonna discard them. I'm not gonna have a final paperwork. That's all, you can match it up with your stuff, if it looks right.
Okay, so enlighten me a little bit, James, on, or Ed Stops is who we're referring to, right?
Yes.
Okay, so how often do they want paid?
So they want paid twice a month, and the other thing is, we have MacArthur and Fall River, and I'm working on getting them combined into one bill. I just started down and signed the paperwork. I spoke with them Wednesday, and they showed me who to go to, how to do it, and then stick these bills combined, rather than getting a bill from Gaines or from MacArthur and Fall River. It's all on the same deal, what it should be. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know if any of you in the public use Ed Stop, but they went from billing monthly to billing twice a month, and then back to billing monthly again, now they're back to billing twice a month. And with that being said, when they were at one point, during the merger, when we merged, I sent out letters to all of our vendors telling them that, we have merged, we are no longer this EIN number, this is who we are now, and this is our new EIN number, and please put our name correctly on all the bills. Well, everyone would do it except for Ed Stop.
Well, they're gonna do it now.
Even PG&E did. So I was like, what is going on here? So I ended up talking to James, showing him the letter that I had sent, and he went down and talked to
I've been talking to Marcia.
Marcia.
I want the fuel reduced, I want the price reduced. So every billing cycle, they immediately send it to me via email, so I can get it to her as quick as possible, which she gets the same thing. So we can save some time off.
Yes.
And then give us a bill through the mail, but I'm trying to expedite this.
So one of the
to get
things that they were doing though, and Nolda can attest to this, is they were only sending statements, not invoices. So I couldn't, right, it's changed now, they just changed it just this last bill cycle. Because I can't input, unless they are a statement vendor, am I saying this correctly? I cannot input it into the county system unless it's an invoice, and they weren't giving me invoices. So it was very frustrating.
I got that straightened out, I believe. I told her, you're not gonna get paid until we get an invoice.
Since you're, I ask you, is it possible for the county to pay a vendor twice in 1 month?
Yeah, we can pay vendors as many times as we
Yeah.
want. The one thing that we are, because our system validates whether or not, there's a due payment, we can't switch back and forth from paying by invoice versus paying by statement. So we flag them as a statement vendor, so, some of those would be, some of the utilities, you might pay them once a month, and statement that has your invoices attached to it, and we pay it all as one, you can record it as one line in the system.
Valley Hardware, Napa,
Yeah,
those
if you
places.
switch back and forth, you end up with different invoice numbers, you have a statement number, an invoice number, now you can pay pieces of that, but there's no reason we can't pay, and we do check on daily. And we pay all invoices within 7 days, so as long as everything's there, it's all correct, and we're 100% successful on that.
I think we're gonna be
Right
pretty
into
close.
us, it's going out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think it'll be all
I
right.
think we're gonna be really close now, then I get that immediately, when we get that invoice out.
I got another question for you, Paul.
Yes.
As a potential special board, is there any way that we could set it up to where we prepay, for this? You know, like do a budget resolution or whatever we need to do, where that money would already be there, okay, and then we just deduct it?
Yeah, you can do that, you need to have some, sharp number people, so you're gonna look prepaid in the system, and it's gonna sit there, and you're still required to count for every invoice, so as every invoice is paid, it's gonna reduce that prepaid and record your expense by a journal entry. So maybe the second entry you're gonna be doing, so one, you cut a check, you book it all prepaid. 2, you do a journal entry, every invoice, you do a journal entry to move it from the prepaid to the expense account, that's how it's gonna hit it. And then when you run out of money, you cut another check for the prepaid, but there's a reconciliation that has to be happening all through the month to make sure that we're spending
It's
it.
much easier on the bookkeeping side to stick in, get the invoice and pay off.
Might
Yeah, I
I
mean,
add
you can
something?
submit them daily, and I would recommend, whoever you bring, I mean, it's not a large operation, as invoices come in, if you granted an authority for your bookkeeper to pay invoices that are less than 15,000, they should be getting the invoice, paying the invoice, getting the invoice, paying the invoice. But they should be reporting to the board, it's not a claims list, it's a report of items paid. And the claims list would be those things you have not delegated the authority to your bookkeeper pay. That keeps your bills current, avoids any late payments and penalties. It's one of the reasons we recommend those resolutions, because a lot of districts only meet once a month. You hold all your bills for board meeting, and you pay anything late. And then you send it to us, and we need our 7 to 10 days, and now you're even kind of later. So that's the reason you give that resolution, that delegated authority, thinking that, and we look at normal investments. So if they're trying to pay something, you're looking for paying something that's not normal investment, late fees, penalties, other things that don't need your, things that are absorbent, we're gonna kick back and say, you need to work with this. This is not normal investment. Just those routine, recurring, utilities, gas bills, they should be entered all along and being paid on a regular basis. So, like, whatever they get this week, pay this week. Whatever they get next week, pay next week. And present a report, these month-end reports they talked about, a report back to the board, so the board can see every item that's paid. And those reports will list out every item with its check number, and you can review that report and go, yeah, that all looks fine, or I want to see additional detail. It also reduces the board clerk, because you're not coming to the board with a giant list of claims. You're coming with a report from the person.
But we can't get like a credit card.
We
get-
can't, no. I put in for a credit card for the chief.
Do what?
I put in for a credit card for the chief, and I got a response back from you that said, we cannot have a credit
You
card.
don't know what responsibility says that. So you can get, districts can get credit card. Yes.
Well, because if we do the stop rate, we just have one account. So, I mean, there's several gas stations that we can use too.
Yeah, so if you have a gas card, every county has gas card offices, you can't use the county's account to get a credit card.
So,
You can't piggyback on our account, you have to go get your own credit card.
so you
Under
just
your own
get
account.
a credit card.
What?
So we can't get a credit card through the county.
You can't piggyback on the county's accounts. Because we have different taxpayer ID numbers, you're not
But
the same.
our
business.
district could get a
You can
credit
get a
card.
credit card, you can get a Visa card, you can get a fire chief, and we talked about this previously. Fire chief can have a card where they can do purchases that, whatever you authorize them to do. Again, we will be paying the credit card invoice, when you pay the invoice, we will be expecting to see every receipt attached to that invoice when you pay the credit card. And we'll be auditing them and making sure everything's in the right account at that point. It'll be really important that you pay those timely, you don't have to late fees. So you need to make sure that the invoices are kind of moving. But you can get a gas card, fuel card. But yeah, it will be on the district's credit rating and whatever agency you're going through, whether they're gonna approve a credit card for you or not. So, but
let's get details afterwards.
Yeah, we can talk about that, but there are a lot of districts that have credit cards and use those to keep the payments current, and then they're submitting one invoice to us for a credit card payment with a bunch of support attached to it. We will still audit every invoice that comes.
So with that being said, she has the authority to pay the bill without board approval.
Yeah, July 3rd, resolution.
So that should work out, I think we're gonna start making it cheaper.
It's my understanding if we pay currently twice a month, we may get a discount.
I'm going to get a few.
You too.
So bringing up Ed Staub as you guys pay per bill, not from invoice, why has the secretary submitted a bill for $401 and some cents off of a inventory or invoice number, and also submitted it to be paid by the bill?
So it's the one I got, it was a late payment, or one that never got paid, and we owed the money.
You still pay off the invoice, not off the bill, not off the invoice. You don't resubmit it for payment. NOLDA will only pay the current bill. You cannot double pay a bill.
It wasn't double paid.
It's being requested to be double paid because the board already approved to pay that bill. You can't turn around and resubmit it with a different invoice number to pay again, because that's circumventing the restrictions that are in place to pay the bills once.
I think we're making that. Yes.
If the district owes money, the district needs to pay the bill. If you're missing a receipt, you should mark those as a copy or duplicate, and put an explanation on it, and you have to receive a report from the vendor, and the invoices are missing.
And that's what happens.
And then normally, we would look just to make sure that it wasn't paid anywhere, there's no additional amounts, we will need to do that in the old system, because I don't have that data.
So it's okay
But
to
she
do
can,
that.
yeah, she should stamp it, research shows this invoice not previously paid.
Okay. And that's what they said, hey, it wasn't paid.
Hey, James, just a little tidbits, I know you guys, got so much to do. You know what I use for our ranch business too, when you go out to the stop thing and plug in the car, there's an odometer, and I should figure out, if you have a truck number, you can put that number right in there, and then it prints it out on the receipt, and it's right there in the receipt.
And that would be fine too. I still want the signature of who's there.
Sure.
I don't want a bunch of cards that everybody has, 'cause then there'll be a name attached to it. I just don't want that. I'd rather have them have 4 cards or something, and then they put their name. And that's a good idea. We can do that.
And then just the online, stop is so fast to turn around and try to get that discount, you gotta be on top of it. And so I opened an online account, you can see all your invoices, what you paid, what you're out, and it's easy to track and get these ways to the online thing. Sorry, Jim, I think you're tired of this. This is my idea. You guys are trying to save some bucks, so.
We are, and I would like to see this happen. We do need to get our fuel down, and they need to help us out if we help them out.
Okay, moving on, we have a closed session item that I was advised we could move into, tackle all our new business. It doesn't need to be in closed session, and that's the litigation with the case of, Norman Joe Valdez and his claim. And I understand, Tom, you had no, there was no.
I got no luck with when I dealt with, I submitted, we submitted a letter to him, and, he still.
There was no settlement.
No settlement.
No stuff, okay. And,
Read the memo.
and there's the memo.
It's a memo from our legal counsel regarding this issue. It's just an update. I can summarize it for everyone.
Yeah.
It's basically saying that there was no settlement reached, and they will be scheduling a additional full hearing date for undetermined date.
So it's ongoing. Okay.
Can I have a copy of that? As required?
Ask our legal counsel.
You presented it to the board, you need to provide, the board then needs to provide a copy of it to me. I requested it as a public records request, so therefore you have, actually, you presented it to the board at this time. You need to present me with a copy by the end of this.
They could have left any fucking time they want. I mean, that's the matter.
So, right before the flag salute started?
Take much longer time.
No, right when the flag salute started,